Shetty, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first video in my 52 book project series, and the first book that I read in the first week of the year was The Namesake by Jhumpa Lahiri. There are 5 things I wanted to share about this book with you. Firstly, just to give you a summary of the main story in this book, it's about a family that immigrates to the US and their experience moving from one country to another and making a life for themselves in this new context. The first thing I learned was that your experience as an immigrant and your experience as a first generation immigrant are very different. And even though you have similar cultural roots, um, there's definitely more assimilation with regards to the first generation immigrant, and that can cause tension, which was prevalent between the father figure in this book and the son. And it's really important to communicate to navigate those challenges and differences of opinion. The second thing that I learned is that you can travel the world through books, and that is something that Ashok Ganguly did in the book as well. Is that even though he was growing up in Calcutta and in India, he loved reading books from different parts of the world, and his favorite writer was a Russian writer, Nikolai Gogol, and he loved reading his books, and he decided to name his son after that particular writer. So, yes, you can travel the world through the books you read. The third thing I'd like to share with you is that it's really important to understand and empathize with your parents' journey. One of the things I realized more recently in my life is that your parents also went through a lot, and they try their best every day to be a better parent for you. And they have their own hopes, aspirations, and desires. And it's really important to look at them as individuals and not just your parents, and to respect those hopes, um, ambitions, and desires as well, and to make a space to have an honest conversation about that. The fourth thing I'd like to talk about is it's really important to be patient with grief and love. We are all going to get old. We're all going to, someday lose people, and that's that's a very important human experience that is really hard to understand. When you love someone, you believe that they're going to be around forever, and that's not always the case. So that transition from knowing that they're there to them not being there is something that will take time, and you need to develop your own process to navigate that journey. And most importantly, be patient with yourself. But if there's anyone else going through something similar, do be patient with them, and just be there for them, even if that entails not talking for a bit and just hanging out with them. And the last thing I'd like to share about this book is that the story behind your name is an important part of your identity. After reading this book, I realized that I need to understand how my parents came up with my name, and that helped me develop more of an understanding um, for why my name came to be. And it's a story I'd love to share with you. My mother, when she was pregnant with me, had gone to a particular place in India where it hit her that that name was the name she would like to keep for her son. So that was a very special story. It will always be special to me as well. So these are 5 things I wanted to share with you about this book. Please look for the link in the show notes if you want to purchase a physical copy or an ebook or an audiobook of this wonderful book. And do let me know what you think about this book, or please feel free to send me a message about any other book you are reading and some of the things you have learned over there.